Hello and welcome to Teasing the NFL. This is your destination for NFL teaser bets. I'm Daniel Saludo along with Andrew Chang here. All right, we are just under a week away from the start of the 2021 NFL season. Are you excited, man? I know you're excited. You can smell that money coming in.
Smell it. Oh, it's coming. It's in the oven, dude.
He's like, it's on mine.
Oh man, dude, I'm so excited, guys. I know
we both have been.
You guys have been excited too, and I'm just so ready.
We both are. So we thought we'd kind of wet our whistles, get everybody prepped for the season since we're still days away, and we talk about some futures bets that are out there. We're going to go through team totals, over under, what we've been looking at, what we kind of like or don't. We'll be looking at if teams are going to make the playoffs, how teams are going to teams that are possibly going to win their division, and of course we'll get to the Super Bowl odds as well.
Ooh.
But we'll first start up with the teams that are the over-under win totals for teams, and a lot of pro bettors like. Actually, in terms of futures bets, these are some of their favorites, are over and unders. So Andrew will go first, and he'll pop up one of the ones that he's looking at.
Hey man, everyone crack open the haterade. It's about to start now. If I list one of your teams, I'm sorry.
All right, let's go.
The first team I like to hate on is a team that is revered as America's team to hate on, the Dallas Cowboys. They have a over/under of 9 games for the season. I'm gonna go under on that one.
Why? Give me a quick reason.
Zeke got paid. Zeke got paid. He's not gonna do well.
But he's looking so good in off season, man.
Everyone looks good in off season. The Texans look great in off season.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah, we did. We were like 3 out of 4. Anyways, keeping it forward. Too much money for Dak Prescott. I think that injury's not gonna do him any better. That, and I don't think that their offensive line and defensive line, they've suffered some pretty significant losses.
Yeah, their defense is definitely going to be lacking this season for sure. They're going to be one of the worst in the league. Their offensive line is bad. That's actually one of the things I like about Dallas.
Wait, didn't they lose Sean Lee? He was like a...
Yeah, but that's on the defense. And that's why I said their defense isn't so great.
Yeah, okay.
But I have some faith in the Dallas offense this season, actually, in fantasy.
Okay.
I do like some of the Dallas guys in fantasy.
CD and Amari Cooper. That's
it.
No Zeke Elliott, no Dak Prescott.
I don't blame you with Dallas. It's a tight division, which is why I can't put myself to bet over/under on the Cowboys, just because it's a variance of ways. Mm-hmm. You don't really know how that division is going to go. If I lean to it, maybe an over. If the offense stays 100% healthy, because we know Dak didn't play last season because he got hurt, they'll get a lot more wins. But, we'll see.
I mean, I think that line is where it's supposed to be, but I think overall it will be under. I know that they're going to visit, the worst teams in the worst league. Washington football team. They can't even make up a team name.
They'll get one next season. Yeah,
that's
they're doing it for 2 years.
That's what we said last season.
No, they said they were going to have the name for 2 years, and then they'll.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, and then they got the Philadelphia Eagles, and then the Giants.
Yep.
Which is a pretty terrible league. They do get to play each other, but I feel like this is the bottom of that barrel. Honestly, I don't know if Philly's going to do some little magic or whatever, but we'll see. The next team I like to not hate on per se, but to bring in light of is my newfound team, because I ditched the Texans. The Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. I kind of like them to make the playoffs, right?
Yep.
And that's a little crazy, but hear me out. I think the draft went pretty well for the Chargers. They gave Herbert a lot of protection. I think the returning cast is pretty important. I think you have one of the better wide receiver sleepers on that team. I know you really don't like the guys other than Keenan Allen.
No, I like Keenan Allen. I like Herbert. I don't like Guyton.
Okay.
No, but I like the main weapons. The main weapons are really good. Also really good in fantasy as well.
Right. So I feel, in a similar situation when Russell Wilson first came into the league, they had all that money to build, I think the Legion of Boom was already there, but then they had Marshawn Lynch. So when you had that missing piece as a QB, that's how you build a team, and that's how you get to the Super Bowl. So I like that, and I'm just trying to make it into the playoffs. And for just $105, I know it's a kind of a tough division, but I think, they can squeeze in a wild card appearance.
Yeah, they'll have a chance at the wild card. The one concern I have with them is their offensive line is improved, but it's not really in the top half of the league yet. If they keep building on it, they'll have a chance. But I do like the fact that they have a chance to get into the playoffs, 3 wild card teams this season. The division doesn't make it easy when you have to play the Chiefs twice, but we've seen last season they always kept it close with them, so they might have a chance to beat them. And you're getting positive money, $100 to win, $105. So you can take a kind of a shot at that, and I don't disagree with that choice at all.
Yeah. I think this is for our returning fans or haters. Of course, what haterade session could be complete without the Miami Dolphins?
It's your favorite.
All right. Well, Danny, it's reckoning time, all right? You said that it was too early to write Tua off. I'm saying I'm cashing in that check this season.
Right.
Okay? They are favored to win 9.5 games. So technically, they got to win 10.
Yeah.
Okay? And I just don't see that happening. I don't think that Tua can get a hold of this offense. And as many games as Fitzpatrick kind of bailed him out last season, he's not there anymore. So I think the challenge is there. 9.5 is just too much credit for the Dolphins. Albeit, their special teams and their defense is still...
They're still excellent.
Yeah, still very good, but I'm just saying you can only get lucky so many times, right? So that luck runs out this season. I think it's definitely going to be an under for the Miami Dolphins at 9.5.
All right.
Hey, another surprising under, which I'm very weirded out because I'm the over guy, is the New Orleans Saints. And the reason why is obviously the Louisiana version of the GOAT is gone. And now the power vacuum has been filled by a Mr. One-to-One, Jameis Winston, formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he was duking it out with Taysom Hill, which I still think he's going to get playing time too.
They'll have some packages for him for sure. There's no doubt. Peyton, that's just the way Peyton is.
It's just a Sophie's choice over there. That, and there's been just some, diva drama with Michael Thomas, and I don't know if that's going to affect the offense in any way. But yeah, I'm not so impressed with who's at the helm. I know Sean Payne's an offensive genius, but he might have this season's work cut out for him. So at 9, I'm actually going to go under.
It's a big surprise. I know when Jameis got the starting job, I know that I was a little more bullish on him. And I would actually myself lean a little more to the over, just a little bit more, because he gives them a chance to... When you have Taysom Hill, I would have led to the under, but Jameis gives you more of a chance to be able to win. Now, the problem is, of course, the weapons. You have Kamara, of course, who's going to be great, but you don't have anybody in receiving now. You have Marcus Callaway, who's a standout of the preseason, but the question is, can he do it consistently against number ones? Not sure. Hard to say. That's why I can't pull the trigger on this, but I do lean more to the over.
The over.
Just because, yeah.
My goodness.
Oh. Yeah, and with that, they would be, they're basically even money to make the playoffs. I do give them a chance to make the playoffs because the NFC is a little bit weaker. Again, extra wildcard team, and they would have a chance to be able to make it. I mean, the Bears made it last year.
I know.
So, yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
So we'll move on to some of the stuff that we both are going to touch on here. So number one, we're going to talk about the home team here, the Houston Texans. Their over-under is 4. And we are both on different sides of this because I don't have any trust with the Texans at all. Now, if somehow in the next couple of days they get Cam Newton, I might change my thoughts. But right now, I think they're the worst team in the league. They're going under, in my personal opinion.
Oh.
They do have a chance to go unwon, as in 0 wins. That is my full opinion on this.
Well, on a side note, I'll see that later. But yeah, I just feel that at first it started at 5, okay? And then it went to 4.5. And now it's at 4. So now I'm just really saying, are the Texans really that bad? I knew, as a Texans fan, you got to be real. Okay, you got to look in that mirror every day with your clown makeup on and say, this team is going places. But not being able to win 5 games out of 17, that's straight up disrespect. I've seen that is the lowest number I saw on that list. And for good reason. I mean, our defense is terrible. We don't have anybody on offense. I think
And it's a new coaching system.
It's a new coaching system. It's literally just, a lot of number 2s, number 3s, and nothing that's been proven to work at all. That in our backfield is way too crowded. But for some reason, I just can't.
He keeps saying it's only 5 wins. It's only 5 wins. I'm like,
5 wins, right? It's almost
that's gonna be kind of hard for them. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
And look, guys, it's almost like when you're in the blackjack table, and it's like, well, I mean, there's no way I can lose 16 hands in a row.
Watch me.
So you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. As a fan, I cannot just be disrespected with just 4 wins. Even though I know I was alive for a season where we had 3 wins.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Now it's really dawning on me.
Yep.
I'm still going to say the over.
He likes the over. I prefer the under. I just don't trust the Texans at all. They're in pure rebuild mode. I don't think they come away with much. I think it's going to be a struggle for them to win. Even like the opening game against who they're playing one of the worst teams last season. They're playing the Jags. I don't even know if I like them playing. I don't even know if I like them winning against the Jags, let alone covering.
I know, man.
So it's tough.
It's tough, but at the same time, there was a time where the AFC South was like the NFC East. That division was just
It was just the
awful,
Colts and that's it, yeah.
Right? And so I'm looking at this division. Okay, we see Tennessee. I mean, granted, when we had the shot, we were close to beating them by 1 possession. Twice in both games. You know that because we got lucky
on it. Yep.
Okay. Then we have a Carson Wentz-led Colts, which if he stays healthy, if not, then it's the number 2, which I think we can win those games. And Jacksonville, which is sort of unproven right now, and I think we can win against those 2. So I'm just gonna bank on those wins and catch someone else sleeping at the wheel and. Hopefully, we'll squeeze out 5 wins. So
opposite sides.
Are you on the under?
I'm on the under. I've been on the unders since the futures came out. I've been saying under because they have a chance to win no games, and that's why I'm like under.
They have a chance to win no games.
Yeah, they do. They legitimately do. It's pretty sad.
So if there was one game where we were offered 10-1,
I might. It depends. It might. It just depends on the opponent and everything. It's a setup. It's always going to be like that.
Hey man, how about Texans versus KC?
No. Not to win.
How about 15-1?
No.
Oh wow.
No.
Wow.
No.
Just move on, Dan. I feel so disrespected right now.
It's all right. Well, you want to talk about disrespect? He's gonna disrespect my favorite team in this next one because we're on opposite ends of my favorite team. Now he's talking about favoritism and everything, and he just said he's hometown Houston Texans. He's like, oh, they can make out 5 wins. Well, I've got my favorite Pittsburgh Steelers. Their over-under's 8.5.
That's a lot of games.
It may seem like it, but we're talking about Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. A losing season is 8-9 in this. That means, that's the under in this. And I don't see that happening. They always pull out wins somehow. So I'd like the over 8.5 in this. They don't necessarily have to make the playoffs. But that is something that I like as well, and I'll get to that in a second, but I like them to go over in this. They're always going to be competitive. The defense keeps them in games. Curious to see how Ben is, and then it's going to be a lot more run game. My one concern with the offense is the offensive line. Their offensive line is going to be one of the worst in the league. That's my one scary thought.
While you're saying this.
Yeah, I know, but somehow they always find a way to pull it out.
Look, they're not the Philadelphia Eagles, bro.
No, but I don't need them to cover spreads. I just need them to win, and the defense always will keep them in it.
Oh my gosh! I mean, you
have to remember 2 years ago when they didn't have Ben, they went 8-8. And that's Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, okay.
So that gives me every reason that I think they can do it. One of the harder things about them is, though, their schedule's not easy. So
right. And then now, because they didn't have Ben Roethlisberger, I'll throw a nice little quip at you. Now they do, right? And I think that's the big issue that I have with the Steelers, right? Ben, for me, it's not like a Tom Brady and a Ben.
I agree. He's not that, but he's definitely better than half of the league.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you have a really good defense and a quarterback that's better than half the league. That should get you at least 9 wins.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in the Texans case, I can't complain. Our defense propped us up for 9, 10 games. But I am just saying, I think, And that division, there's some upcoming stuff in that division. I think the Bengals will maybe give you some problems.
No, they won't.
No? Wow.
No, you talk about a bad offensive line. They don't have an offensive line.
How about the Ravens? Will they give you any trouble?
Yeah, the Ravens, the Browns, they'll have issues, of course. They play the Bills in week 1. So,
oof. Yeah, I just think that whole season that y'all had was a loss. So, I don't have much faith in Big Ben. And then I really don't have faith in Mr. Dwayne Haskins.
Well, Haskins he's the number 3. It's Rudolph who's the number 2. So yeah,
because they were playing him a lot in preseason.
Yeah, but they knew what they have in Rudolph, and I know how management works over there. So
okay, and just a reminder, if the Steelers are away,
bet the under.
There we go.
Yeah, you got
Fantastic.
it. Touching on the playoffs bet, they are plus 140, and my belief is if they're going to have a winning season, they should make the playoffs. They should have more than 9 wins. So I'll lean towards taking the plus money at 140. A lot of people didn't think they'd do that well last year, and they were the last undefeated team out there, 11 wins. But they faded badly in that, and part of that is just how the team makeup was in the end. But I like the plus money with them to make the playoffs. Tomlin's a great coach, and he'll generally get his team into the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, moving.
You know your team best.
Yeah, and that's why I like bet, and that's why I can bet them sometimes.
I'm just hoping that mine pans out. Like, am I a real Texans fan? I'm about to find out right now this season.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So some of the other teams that I'm going to highlight here are the Falcons. The Falcons are over under 7.5. I'm very bearish on the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan is slowly becoming one of the worst overrated quarterbacks in the league.
Next to Jared Goff?
He's kind of, they're kind of close. We'll see what happens with Goff with no talent around him. But the Falcons, I don't see them having any real success. It's already in a tough division or anything. I really don't feel like they're going to pull off 8 wins. I feel like 7 wins is kind of their cap, and that's really it. So I like them under 7.5 wins. I also am looking at the New York Jets as well. I don't trust the New York Jets at all. Another new regime, new quarterback, offensive line still not very good. Not a whole lot of offensive weapons. Their defense is okay at best. They are over under 6, and I like them to go under that. Wow. They're also a team in rebuild mode.
Okay. I mean, now that you opened up my eyes on the Falcons, yeah, you're right. There's nobody there.
There's nobody.
There's nobody there.
Yeah.
That's almost like a dying, and they just got a tight end.
Yeah.
It's just like,
who could be great in a few years. I don't think he's going to pan out this year.
But that's not going to draw people to your games, and then you already.
Well, and then it doesn't make a huge factor in it because you have Matt Ryan, who's a lot of people are considering a lot more overrated now. You have Calvin Ridley, who's a great receiver out there. He's going to be a great fantasy receiver, by the way.
Relevant. What? Todd Gurley?
Oh, no, Gurley's not there anymore. No, they have Mike Davis now.
Oh, what? Oh, your boy Mike Davis?
Yeah, but I just don't see a lot coming out. I do. I like Mike Davis. And he has no competition. Also another good fantasy guy. I like throwing those in there. Atlanta I'm very bearish on. Go ahead. The last team I'm looking at is the Washington football team. The reason, and they are at 8.5, over under 8.5. Again, that means they need a winning season. I think at the helm now with a really good one. They arguably have the best defense in the league now. If you think about it, they were so good last season. They kept them in a lot of games. I think that they definitely are top 5 defense for sure. Now, now you've got a dynamic offense as well. You've got Scary Terry out there. You've got
Toe Turf. I hate that.
Turf Toe. Antonio Gibson. Their tight end Logan Thomas, and now you got Fitzmagic. So I think he's going to add something to this, and I think they'll have a chance at the playoffs. They'll have a chance to get a winning record. So I like them over 8.5, and I do like their chances to get into the playoffs just because of the division. Their division alone gives them a really good chance to be able to get in, plus 135. Especially if the Cowboys, like he thinks, are probably going to fall off a little bit. They're not going to be consistent enough. Who's left? Philly's not going to have anything there. The Giants are in shambles right now.
Yeah.
On the offensive side, so that leaves Washington, and they've got one of the best defenses in the league. A defense will always keep you in a game, and as long as they do a little bit better than what they had last season with like Alex Smith and Tyler Heineke and everything, they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I know they. I know they will. With Dallas falling, if Dallas falls off, they're going to be the one to win the division.
They will. right?
Yeah.
And there goes into my nice little story of jumping on this boat with Danny and saying, yeah, they will definitely make the playoffs, just because they are still in the NFC least. I feel that didn't they make the playoffs with the losing record?
They made the wild card last season. So they're only going to be better, and that's the reason why I like it.
So yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, they made the playoffs on a losing record. It's terrible.
Oh well. You have some good ones over here too.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of really interesting ones in terms of making and missing the playoffs, and I'll touch them real quick. So I've got the Ravens to miss the playoffs at plus 225. The reason why I'm only putting this out there because I'm starting to fade them just a little bit. Their they've got a new offensive line. Their defense there's a lot of changes in there. And if they don't start to get things clicking, they also don't have a wide receiving core. Everybody's hurt or COVID or something. And J.K. Dobbins is out for the season. So that it's really on Lamar Jackson. If Jackson starts taking too many hits, he can't, and he has to throw the ball more, they struggle a lot more. And so his only target really is your favorite, Mark Andrews. And they'll be running the ball a lot. But my worry with somebody like Jackson over time is wear and tear, and running and getting hit. So if there's a time to fade him, this is the time to start fading him to the coming couple seasons. So it's not something I'm going to bet, but it's something I want to note because, and if Jackson goes down, they've got nobody behind him. They've got Tyler Huntley.
Oh
that's their next quarterback. So I'm like, there's no way. If he goes down, there's no way they get anything out of their team. So that's one of the things I've got there. I've got the Chicago Bears at making the playoffs at plus 210. This is kind of a prediction based off if Justin Fields can get onto the field quickly. Because I like him a lot. The one thing I'm worried about with them is they have a bad offensive line. Their offensive line is one of the worst in the league. And I'm like, but maybe with having a better quarterback, who's somebody who's a little more mobile, who can get out, who can run the ball a little bit more, and you don't have to worry about your passer getting hit and under pressure so much. So I like them kind of that 2-1. And it's the NFC. We've seen lower teams get in. I mean, they got in last season as a number 7 seed. So if they can improve on it, they should have a chance to be able to get in.
Yeah.
Agreed? Yeah.
I think so too. Well, I'm a lot on the Justin Fields hype train.
I am too.
I'm
pretty big on him.
And it's kind of exciting because now it's like, okay, the Bears are just like, dude, we finally got a chance. And then here comes Mr. Big Bad Aaron Rodgers. Like, what do you guys think you're going? So I'm ready to see that matchup, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Next one I've got is Indianapolis Colts to make the playoffs at plus 115. It's just a shot in the dark more than anything. I'm not going to bet this. But I think if Wentz can put it together with that offensive line, they have a really good defense as well. Jonathan Taylor, who you love, I like him too. Their offense can put it together. The one downside is they don't have the receiving core. T.Y. Hilton's out, but he's getting old anyways. He's out for a few weeks, so you really have Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, a couple others I can't think off the top of my head. But I think they have a chance to slide in there a little bit, especially if other teams start to fall off. If like the Steelers fall off, if the Dolphins fall off, the Colts will have a chance to get in. And if something goes weird with the Titans, then they can have a chance to win the division as well.
That division that they're in is still very weak. I mean, I can speak for like 2 of the teams.
Yeah.
But,
so,
it's whatever.
So, I've got the Patriots up next with the changeover with Cam out and with Mac Jones in. I think if Jones can kind of progress through the season and progress pretty well, he looks good, looks composed, and I think that's one thing I like about him is his composure. In there, I think they've got an outside shot to get in as like a number 6, number 7 seed. I love the offense and the running game. The only thing is their passing game might be a little limited, but they're going to run the ball so much. I don't think they're going to have to worry about it too much. They still have a really good offensive line. The defense is still there. So I think you've got a bit of an upgrade because I wasn't a big fan of Cam last year.
Cam Newton.
Yeah. So I think they can improve on where they were. And, of course, Belichick's the coach. You always give him a shot to get into the playoffs.
Okay. I like that, too. And I think – I don't know if I told you, but I definitely told shout out to my boy Larry, who's watching from the bar. I told you your boy would be out of the job when I saw Mac Jones playing preseason. So there you go. But hopefully he gets a new job. I mean, we can use him on the Texans for my over four games. I would much rather take him than Ty Lions.
Oh, of course.
There we go.
Yeah, so that is plus 110. A little bit of positive money in it. I might take a shot at it. We'll see. He's not very bullish on the Saints. I am. We talked about this a little bit. I do like their chances to make the playoffs. Again, just because it's the NFC, teams have gotten in on lower chances, and I think Winston gives them a decent chance to be able to be competitive to get into the playoffs, making it into that 6-7 seed. We've kind of already gone over that.
Yeah.
We've already talked about the Steelers, of course. I like their chances, and we've talked about the Washington football team as well. So those are the ones that I'm looking at, and we're going to move now to the division. And so we're looking at only a couple of these who we think have a chance to make and win their division. These are not as easy to do because one injury, one wrong thing that goes wrong for a team and it blows up the entire team. So one of the ones I know I'm looking at is, of course, the Steelers. They are at plus 400 to win the division. If things go right for them like they did last season, they'll have a chance to get in to the playoffs and be able to win the division if Ben is healthy and everything goes well for him. The one concern, of course, is that offensive line, but I like the 4-1 just as an outside flyer, maybe that they win their division.
Okay. You know what? I was kind of looking through. I don't know if I can really choose one. Oh, you know what? You just doggone took it away from me, Danny. You know what? I actually. Oh God, the top of their division, right?
Yeah, have to win the division.
Oh, I was.
These bets are have to win the division.
I was about to say the Chargers, but I remembered that KC.
Yeah, you forget who's in there.
I mean,
now, if Mahomes goes down, you got it. You got it there for sure because they don't have any other competition. So if you're putting on something that maybe KC regresses, because one of the things with KC is that they have a really brand new offensive line. They're basically starting from scratch again. So if the offensive line doesn't put it together and start to struggle with Mahomes, they've got a shot, and it's not that bad if you look at the Chargers at plus 500 to maybe sneak it in there. It's not too bad. I wouldn't recommend it, though, but I would understand why you might like it.
Yeah, and if it wasn't that, I would have to. I know he's very high on his Pittsburgh Steelers because there's a lot of value, but I think this year, the Browns, I feel like they're a more complete team. Their defense is actually really good as well. I think the top 5 defense you were talking about.
I don't know if they're top 5. I know they will be top 10.
I know, but you're talking about defenses like, your team. Like Steelers,
Rams.
Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, Washington.
Washington. Those are like your top tier.
Tops, yeah.
And I feel like they're not too far off.
No, they're not.
Myles Garrett and, just a 1-2 punch on the run game.
Yeah.
And so,
they'll have their chances. They got one of the best offensive lines in the league by far. And everybody knows what they're going to do, but Stefanski's been able to really game plan them well, coach them well, and I think they've got a chance to win their division as well in the AFC North. A lot of people, a lot of experts, all the ESPN, Fox Sports, all the people are really high on them. I kind of tend to lean the other way when everybody's so bullish on them. I was like, okay. But I think they have justification at plus 140. They're actually at the same odds on my book is mybookie.com. They have the same odds as the Ravens at plus 140. So it's not a bad choice to go with that. And you can actually counter that by going with, if you are fading the Bengals and the Steelers totally, just pick both of them to win the division and you'll get money in the end. It's dangerous to do because something goes wrong, it all goes wrong. But if you're really confident that you can do that, I've done it before. It's a nightmare sometimes. But I've gotten away with it so far just because I've kind of handicapped.
I thought I had the problem here.
No, I've got issues. I've got issues.
We're shedding light on something new here.
Yeah. I talked about the Colts before, and if things don't go well for the Titans, the Colts will be the other team to win that AFC South. They are plus 160, but I like some of the other bets specifically on their over/under, getting on their total wins over is what I like.
Plus 160, yeah, I like that too.
So we'll move to the NFC division.
Oh, this will be
and
fun.
The close division obviously is the NFC East, NFC least. All the teams are close. But looking at this, you have 2 choices really in Dallas and Washington. I don't know if I see the Giants coming up or if Philly's going to do it. I don't trust Jalen Hurts. So this is one of the situations you've got 2 teams at plus money. I actually might bet both of them for a small amount. each, and then just kind of take the profit because I don't. It's a definite no for Philly for me. It's a mostly no on the Giants unless they somehow put it all together. I don't think they are, so it's either Washington or Dallas for me.
They still got your boy Danny Dimes on there, huh?
I was bullish on him until I realized that their offensive line is still terrible. Kenny Golladay still has barely practiced, and honestly, Daniel Jones has not looked good in preseason. So I'm like, oh.
Danny Dimes, baby. The turf monster, man. Oh, dude.
Any of these you like? Anything in the north or the south?
You know what? Gosh. So I will go on a betrayal here.
Uh-oh.
I think. So for the longest time, I've been riding the Seahawks so long, and I think this season might be the season.
Oh, is this the fade them? Are we going to start fading them?
I think we should start fading the Seahawks a little.
Oh boy.
You know what? I mean, help me out on this, right? So
okay, go ahead.
We've made it, to the conference so many times, but there's just not that one little extra push. And this season, I mean, with additions like DK Metcalf as your wide receiver, that guy's an animal. Mm-hmm. He's a beast. But it's just, easy plays that they could have made that just went the other way. It was just a really sloppy offense this season, which I was pretty surprised. That and the ability to not be healthy all the time.
Yeah, it's one of the things they struggled with last season, especially on defense.
Right, and that was my next point too. So if this defense will just keep crumbling, I just don't think that I can really have faith in Seattle to do what they need to do. So looking at their division now, you have Trey Lance and the 49ers, and then you have the former. Well, actually, you can't be the former. You will always be the number one draft pick, right? Yep. The number one draft pick on his new team in LA with, I want to say, one of the best defenses in the league as well, with a pretty creative offensive genius coach with Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. So I will say that the Rams at plus 180 to win their division against the Cardinals, that just might be my only concern. And I know they're kind of ranked lower than the rest of those teams, but the Cardinals, well, first of all, they got my boy J.J. Watt over there now, and they have a D-Hop. I just don't know if Kyler Murray is going to have the season where he excels or has the season where he drops down.
Yeah, that's actually a team I totally forgot to talk about. And
yeah, that's why I was
I didn't even mark it on the spreadsheet. But yeah, I am very bullish on the Cardinals just because I'm huge on Kyler Murray this season. I think my fantasy mind is getting a little too far ahead of myself sometimes, but I think if Murray doesn't get hurt last season, they excel much better than they did last season. They would have excelled much further and had a chance to make the playoffs, but because he got hurt, they were this close to making it, by the way. So I think if he stays healthy and everything goes well together, because we see that the offense is dynamite. So I think they'll have a chance to be able to make the playoffs. They're plus 150 to make the playoffs. And in this chance to win the division, if certain things go right for them, they have a chance to take the division. I don't know that they really do, but I like their chances to make the playoffs enough to bet on 150. But they're plus 400 to win the division. So let's just say, let's put a scenario out there. So you're bearish on the Seahawks, which is fair. Let's say Jimmy G doesn't work out and Trey Lance doesn't work out in San Francisco.
Right.
Then they struggle.
And
then let's say because the Rams don't really have a running game, Stafford struggles a little bit more because he has to throw it more. That gives the chance for the Cardinals to take a shot at actually winning this. So that would be the only thing I'd say. But actually, I am actually a little bullish on the Seahawks. I don't know why, I just am.
Oh, really?
I just am.
Wow.
I have no reason to really explain. I just am. I just think Russell Wilson has something out there. I don't know why. I just think that they're going to do it. Problem is their offensive line is still not very good. Their defense is still going to struggle, but I just like Russell Wilson.
I mean, they got your boy Chris Carson.
That too.
For the fantasy like-minded player. But yeah, it's just something that, and don't get me wrong, I always know that they have slow starts, but it was kind of a weird season that they had last year.
Yeah.
They lost some games where they shouldn't have lost. I think they lost to a second-string QB, which was pretty embarrassing.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, like it was like
Don't
a broken
remind me.
hand versus.
Don't remind me. I lost my bet in the wild card next to that. Do not remind me. I lost 2 bets.
I think that was because of the Seahawks, and for me it was just like, oh, that was unacceptable. That was the last straw for me, and I was like,
We'll see what happens with
this season. I'm just gonna
sit back on him. All right, I get it.
Yeah.
I mentioned them earlier. If Tampa Bay goes down, if Brady goes down, Tampa Bay goes down. You've got the Saints at plus 300 as shot to win the division. Mind it. I keep saying I'm going to fade TB12 every year, and he keeps excelling. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I'm just like,
and those are the years where I put all my money on TB12.
But I mean, he's like 80,000 years old now. One hit's going to knock him out. It's got to happen at some point.
Dude, do you know, like, he invests everything into his body? Like, they have a team of special...
This much into the body? This much?
That was because it was off day and whatever. But
Thursday night against Nick Foles.
He is doing some weird scientific stuff, man. There's no way people can play at that age with that kind of intensity. And maybe he has a senior moment once in a while, but yeah.
Of course he does. He's had it several times.
10 times, man.
Yeah.
10 times in the Super Bowl. Just saying.
Sure. All right, so before we get into the odds of the Super Bowl, I want to have a quick shout out. I got a chance to get a draft guide from the guys at BDG, Big Dogs Gotta Eat. I was able to get a copy of their draft guide. I love their content. So they're not paying me to do this. I just want to shout them out real quick, throw it out there. If you're big on fantasy, I've been mentioning it a bunch of times because I want to lead up to this. Go out, spend $20. Go to bdge.store, get their draft guide. It's got a ton of really great information, and they've got season-long rankings that are constantly updated. These guys, I believe, are the reasons why I'm so much better at fantasy over the past couple seasons, because I religiously follow them. So if you want to up your game in fantasy, go to bdge.store, go get their draft guide, go get it.
Why you already got it?
I ain't sharing it with you. I ain't sharing it with you. You gotta go get it yourself, bro.
Come on, dude.
But I feel like I've improved my chances every season. We were in the finals 2 years ago. I was in the finals last year. I think a reason why is because I've read and listened to a lot of their information. It's really good information. So if you like it, go to their store and cop their draft guide for sure.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure people around the league will say differently, but I'm kidding.
We'll see come this season. We are drafting in a few days.
Our friends at BDG, so we'll probably be sending some videos to them too.
Yeah, we will be. So shout out to all you guys, Nick, Animal Snacks. Always love your content.
That's right. We can't wait to just get some bagels, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we like that stuff. All right,
to the Super Bowl odds. Side note, I don't like betting Super Bowl odds this early. I'm a playoffs guy to win Super Bowl odds because you're closer. Odds are still pretty good, and don't shake your head like that. And less games to go. So we'll start at the top. I mentioned them just a minute ago. It's the Arizona Cardinals. If things go right for them and Murray keeps ascending, like you said, they've got a shot to be the kind of the dark horse, in my opinion, on the NFC side to get in plus 3,500. $100 wins you $3,500. It's not bad if things go right for them.
It's not bad, and I do want to touch on a basis. As a Texans fan, there are two former Texans.
Of course, yeah.
So
and two legit legends.
Two Hall of Famers for the Texans on this team. Okay. And everyone knows this about me, that whoever leaves the Texans organization
goes to win the Super Bowl.
Will go on to win a Super Bowl. I mean, it happened with Tyrann Mathieu when he left the Texans and joined KC. Owen Daniels, Gary Kubiak, and
Jacoby Jones.
Wade Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all
Jacoby Jones.
One same Super Bowl, okay, in Denver. And then Jacoby Jones, David Carr, the list goes on and on. Okay? I'm telling you, so this for me is not a bad pick. At first, I was just like, what is the Cardinals? And I was like, okay.
Oh, they got two Texans.
They got two Texans? Like, okay,
man.
Okay, I want to throw some money on there. And then we both liked the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, everybody's very bullish on the Bills, and it's very fair to be. And, I mean, they're really, if you consider KC to be the number one team in the AFC side, the Bills have to be number two.
Oh,
there's no way that they don't.
It's pretty close. I feel like they're their defense is just, I feel like a hair better than KC.
Yeah, they are better. But their offense probably is not as good.
Right. That makes it just like about right there. So I like that, and I think you like that too.
I do. It's not a bad choice there, but it's not something I'm going to personally put money on.
Okay.
But yeah,
Good.
something to look at.
Awesome.
What you got next?
So I have
your favorite quarterback to bet on.
That's a running joke for all of you not returning as well.
It's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Double check. One of Danny's favorite quarterbacks to bet on.
Absolutely.
Quarterbacks,
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. So this arguably will be his last season with the Green Bay Packers. Drama or not.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over, right? So now you're in this Michael Jordan last dance situation that everyone's talking about. Okay, so you got Aaron Jones. You have arguably probably the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah, he's the number 1.
Devontae Adams.
He's the number 1.
He's a monster. The only thing that concerns me is their defense. They just let all these lower teams just creep on them in the second half. I mean, we saw it with the Panthers. We saw it with just like Atlanta, I think. So that's my only concern. But then again, this team dominated the season. They needed to gain. They won the games they needed to win, and if they would have made a couple split decisions better in one game, arguably Tom wouldn't have that ring, and they would have already had a ring. Arguably,
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm giving them a chance this year to go back to finally throw TB12 off his game just for you, Danny.
I appreciate that.
I think
I appreciate that.
Putting your money towards Green Bay isn't a bad bet for them to win.
It's hard. Yeah, 1,400.
1,400.
I have some question marks. One of the big things, you did touch one of them, the defense is not as good.
Right.
That's one of the concerns I have. The bigger concern I have is their offensive line. They lost Corey Linsley, no longer on the team. David Bakhtiari's out for the first 6 weeks, I think. I think the line's going to struggle a little bit more. And I know Rodgers is going to be able to get the points up there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get like MVP points that he had. So that's one of my concerns with him. 1,400 is a bit
steep
low.
for that.
Yeah, it's a bit low for me. So that's one of my things against that. I do like some of your other points with it though, because he's like, I want it all. But it felt like that was it last season.
I want it all.
Next.
Of course, I've been riding high on this team for the teasers, for the record, and because I'm not really going to cheer for the Texans anymore, I am going with the Los Angeles Chargers to win it all for $3,000. Now, granted, we just talked about the Seahawks, how we're going to fade them. In a similar situation, when they picked up Russell Wilson, a really good talent as a QB, and then they were already building their awesome defense that propped them up those previous years, and then they got Marshawn Lynch. The Chargers, I felt, had a pretty good draft this year, like I said. They gave him some pretty good protection. Their defense could use some improvement. I don't think it's that far off. But, yeah, I'm pretty excited with a new coach at the helm and with Justin Herbert working on to his second year. I think him beating out KC, that's tough. Okay,
They've got a chance to do it.
But they got a chance. And looking back at it last season, he was very close. Very close. So I think I just might sneak that one in there for $3,000. I mean, what do you think about that?
It's not a bad choice if you think the progression is going to be enough for them to get into the playoffs, number one, and then you're hoping for some luck and another team takes care of business against KC, for example, then they absolutely have a chance to be able to slide in. I think there's a little too much competition. They're all in the same division, by the way. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So they're in the same division with KC. So that's an issue as it is. But if somebody else takes care of them, you know, if like, say, they play the Bills, for example, and the Bills take care of them, and the Bills don't do so well in the regular season, they have to play KC, then that might happen. But I think there's too many other teams that are good in the AFC to be able to do it. I mean, you're talking about the Ravens, if it's the same Ravens. You're talking about the Titans, you know, really great run game. And you're talking about the Browns, who everybody's bullish on.
All right.
And I have a hard time arguing against it. And they'll have their chance to be able to do it as well. And, of course, you're looking at the Bills.
KC.
So, it's
it's
hard to put that bet in. Maybe
But
if it's
I'm
like
on.
8,000, maybe I would think about it, but I don't think they're there yet. My opinion.
Okay. I mean, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the NFC, on the last one we're going to touch, we're going to go with the Rams. They are plus 1,200. For me, this is all about who's left in the rest of the NFC. So outside of TB12 and Tampa Bay, maybe Green Bay, I don't know if there's another team that can knock off the possibility of the full talent that is the Rams with their defense, with Stafford in the offense. I would be more bullish on them if they had Cam Akers, but with no Cam Akers, I kind of have a thought about balance on the team. Because when you have Akers, they can run the ball well, and that'll open up the pass game more. Now you have to pass the ball a little bit more, which Stafford doesn't have a problem with because he did it all the time with the Lions.
With whoever he had on the Lions.
Well, minus he had Megatron for a while.
Dude, that was some good days, bro.
But I really like their chances to really be the ones to really stand out outside of Tom Brady.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense too. I think they're one of the more talked about, more complete teams going into this season for sure. And I'm pretty excited to watch them play.
Same.
So it's, I mean, 2 LA teams again going at it. So we'll see.
That would be interesting to see LA, Arizona.
Yeah, right. But
isn't it in LA? Isn't the Super Bowl in LA?
Is it?
I might be. I have to look it up.
Ooh, SoFi Stadium?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, that's the home of the Chargers.
Yep.
Ooh, could you imagine? Chargers?
It would be good to see. It would be fun to see.
Tampa Bay or the perfect thing would be Chargers.
Chargers ran. Yeah. Oh gosh.
then I just be like, oh, all right, good. I know I'm gonna win money on this one. Doesn't matter. God,
so after going through all these futures, let us know in the comments. We're gonna keep all these we're gonna have all the graphics up. Let us know what futures bets you like, or maybe you've already put some of the futures bets in because some of these have been in for 6+ months now. But let us know in the comments what futures bets you like. But until next time, for Andrew Chang, I'm Daniel Saludo. If you like the content you got in this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, tick the notification bell, and select all. That way you stay up to date with all of our latest videos and previews for week 1 and the rest of the season. We cannot wait for it. It is coming less than a week to go. Bets are going to be coming our way for sure.
We have a nice little fantasy football draft on Monday at this house right here. Yeah. Ooh, it's going to be lit. Maybe some bonus content. Who knows? Whatever. Maybe.
We'll see. So, yeah, right. Yeah, but until then, of course, make sure you get your bets in. And, of course, don't forget to be a tease.